Hi. Come on in, say hello. Give these cards a good shuffle as I sit here and realize that this is the last week of February. Oh my God, these Sundays are coming fast, aren't they? I feel like I'm here every time I turn around. Give you guys a few minutes to find me. It's been a big week, but a wild week. You know, I still say, after doing this work for over a decade, it still catches me by surprise at how turbulent changes can be and how turbulent shifts can be. So there's a lot of excitement. There was a lot of attention on, I think it was Tuesday this week, where we had the new Chinese New Year, we had a lunar eclipse, and we had the new moon energy. And there's such this want and this desire to like get rid of this past energy, get rid of 2025. Let's move forward. There's so many promises that are being made. Hi, Kiri and Sheila and Vicky. Of, you know, moving forward and the motion that's going to be coming in with the fire horse and all this stuff. What a roller coaster of a week, though. Because what happens, it has to come in with I would almost say like a final hurrah, right? And so you may have been having a very much irritability. Your imposter syndrome might have been really screeching loudly in your head. You may have found yourself very up and down. This is clearing out the limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. The beliefs and maybe even some truths that have been once aligned with your story were being cleared out. And so that makes us a little touchy, you know, that messes with our sleep a bit, you know, and I think that this is something that we have to have patience for. There's been so many doors opening, so many little views into what is to come. Which I think is so exhilarating, you know, and even if you have not been experiencing that just yet, right? Because it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter if, it's just a matter of time. You're starting to see it trickle out, right? You're starting to see people catching their break, having amazing opportunities, getting the job, getting the house, getting the baby, getting that next step up in their career, whatever it is. You're starting to witness it. It's only a matter of time before that aligns with you and you have your next step, next chapter. So hang in there. We want to turn any fear that it's not going to happen for you into a prayer. Thank you, angels, for bringing to me everything that is mine in perfect divine timing. Thank you, angels, for constantly protecting me and guiding me forward. Thank you, angels, for showing me the way, right? Way better than it's not happening, I'm not good enough, it's only things happen to other people. We all are on our own individual timelines. And so I think that's really important. Any time of that uncertainty kicks up, turn it into prayer, turn it into gratitude to your angels. They're definitely listening, and that is way more beneficial to you in the long run. All right. Hi, everyone. Oh, I'm so happy that we're here. I was just saying at the top of the video, like, this is the last final week, like the last full week of February. What is happening, right? What is happening? Don't know where the time is going, but, totally forgot, Paula. As I see your name coming in, I will write myself a note for tomorrow. Yeah, can't believe that we are wrapping up the second month of 2026, but it just feels like it's getting going. And so if you kind of been feeling like you've been hunkered down, you're not alone. That's very intentional, right? Very intentional in the sense of because what that is doing is creating contentment within you. It's getting really clear. In the last couple of weeks, there was a lot of, let's say, like financial talk. So there's a lot of like, we're getting things organized. We're getting our ducks in a row. We're not doing nothing, right? And I think that's so important that we have a little bit of a misunderstanding with what is productive, what is preparation moving forward, what is helpful. It's not always just the flash and the glamour. It is that sense of creating the foundation and the harmony, right? That's preparation. And so if you've been having maybe a tucked away or quiet start of the new year, you're not alone. That's very intentional. And if this work hasn't taught me something, it has taught me that there's always a pause, right? Before shit gets crazy. And so if you're in a pause, you say, thank you, angels. Thank you for giving me this time to replenish, to prepare for the next thing. Okay. I think that's really important because it's always very quick after. All right. So I do have 5 cards pulled for you. This is from February 22nd through to Saturday, which is February 28th. Let's get into it. So we are learning something new. We are kind of navigating a little bit of uncertainty. And again, this energy is a little bit still unsteady with this shift that we went in this past week. You may still find yourself kind of grasping at the new normal because things are changing. Things have changed. Not things are changing, things have changed. Okay. And so we are getting used to it. We're then going to see it manifesting into our physical life. There's very much this need for, there seems like there is such potential, and you may have already noticed this over the last couple of days, but some of your past stuff is coming up, right? Your past stuff, your past limiting beliefs, your past traumas, your past shame stories. Nothing like a little success and nothing like a little blessing to make you spiral and feel and think of all the ways that it's going to be taken from you or that you're not deserving of it. Okay. And so there's a lot of this kind of deep rooted stuff that is coming up. Okay. Again, shame stories, traumas, hurts, unhealed experience, clarity to past experience, seeing them in the lenses that you know now. It's really interesting on how this is coming up. Everything happens for you, even if it's an experience we don't particularly like. There's layers to it. It brings opportunities for experiences and growth and learning and healing. And it often plays such a foundation for the next, right? I think of my previous life before I had children, because my path went hand in hand with having children, discovering my gifts, and right. And so before that, there were so many life lessons, and it's so crazy how that Angela and this Angela are so vastly different, yet there's so much of that version of me and those experiences intertwined in my daily life now, because it taught me and gave me the foundation, gave me the insight, gave me the compassion that I need, to be able to hold the space that I do now, right? And so there's always a purpose, or there's always a reason. We often don't get to know it until hindsight, right? So kind of keep this in mind. It's also interesting as well, and I'm just going to be blunt, it feels like you're fighting against yourself. It's like, yeah, I'm so excited for the new things to come, but like you're not willing to do anything that is going to align you with the new things. So we want to make sure that we're not in our own way. And that often is, almost like a little hidden. It often comes in as a little bit under the radar, in the sense of like, you may be telling yourself one story, right? But it's actually being fueled by a deep-seated fear or deep-seated belief of lack of worthiness or undeservingness, right? Or embarrassment of having good things, especially if you have conditioning from earlier in your life that, money is the root of all evil, or that only those type of people have X, Y, and Z, right? So there's often beliefs that we have absorbed throughout the years that pop up, that will pop up when things start to shift and change for you. And so it's really important to have this self-awareness. Actually, in our private community, the Divine and Connected community, we're doing a webinar this evening on just that, on the narratives, on these limiting beliefs, on these inner systems that we have absorbed that we may not even agree with, right? Like we may not even go, when push comes to shove, well, that's not my belief, but because you have heard it so many times, it is part of your inner narrative that's on autopilot that you're not even clocking. And yet, even though it's not something you may believe because you don't have the awareness around it, you're not picking it up because it's something just like that background noise. Absolutely, you can still join the community. There's a link on the top of my page, as well as you can go to my website and it'll get you signed up. As soon as you get into the community, you'll see the Zoom link. We're on at 7:30 tonight for that class. Replay is absolutely available on all the content in the Divinely Connected community. But until that, you start having that, and because you don't have that awareness, it's still dictating. It's dictating how you move through the day, what you wear, the choices that you make, the relationships that you're in. And so it's so important to have that awareness. It's so important to have that part of you, especially through this season of moving into abundance, because there is nothing more petrifying than getting your happy ending. And there's nothing more scary than having your prayers answered if you don't know how to receive. And that's going to be a big lesson. And I know we're just into February, but I feel like I'm going to be saying that all year long, right? Because we need to learn. We are hardwired to suffer, and we're also been celebrated for suffering. We've been complimented for suffering, right? And so to receive, we don't have that. We have the jealousy, and we have the envy, and we have, the comments and the belief systems and all around that. And so it's almost shocking when good comes that you have a hard time to receive it and you don't know how to navigate that because we really have never seen it or been taught it, right? And so that's where we get into sabotage. That's where you get into, giving it away because you don't even feel worthy of it, or making choices, actions, inactions that will make it poof, go away, lose that opportunity, because that's what you truly see. And we see this a lot in like the world of celebrity, right? Because if you don't have that foundation of deservingness and worthiness and value, then it's going to be really hard to have that amount of success and that amount of money on no foundation, right? And so that is definitely an extreme sense of this, but we see this in our day-to-day life. I see this in my office all the time, right? And so it is something that it is a learned skill. It is a learned skill. Those old Catholic men, they taught us how to suffer just right, didn't they? Right? And then they had, especially in that age, women against women, right? And so not only were you to suffer, but like you're in competition, and so we're comparison and we're nitpicking and there's jealousy and look what she's wearing and she gained weight and there's all of this. So we don't know how to just celebrate. The thing is with us as humans, we are all one, yet we're apples and oranges. Your path and my path, they don't intermingle. We can have shared experiences, but my path is my path and your path is your path, and we both can be successful, and there's enough for everyone, and there's enough happiness, and there's enough love, and there's enough money for everyone. We don't have to be fearful and stingy and take it, or to be deceptive and take from someone else to just have. We all can have, right? And so there is such this reminder, especially coming into this next season, that we all get to win. And we all deserve to win. It is our birthright to be abundant, right? Abundance of love, abundance of connection, abundance of money. It's just energy, guys. There's nothing morally wrong with having financial security. But we have a lot of belief systems that have been putting a lot of conditioning. And so as you go through your abundant seasons, what is abundant to you, a lot of this is going to kick up. And it is going to be, it may feel very extreme, okay? That's why we need to go within. We're still in a quiet week, even though there's rumblings, right? Rumblings, not as in drama, but just like things getting going. Like it's like we started the engine, like we're finally getting going, right? But there's still this need to go within. There's still this need to reset. There's this need to figure out what is important to you. How do you want to proceed? Move with intention. Very important. Conflict is still, you know, high probability this week. There does seem to be a significant interaction or significant heated words with someone that you feel as though your hands are tied. So if this is an authority figure, if this is a family member, if this is an employer, a customer, there's someone where you're feeling as though your hands are tied, okay? You must honor yourself through this. And I know that this is difficult, trying to navigate it. And there's this feeling of like you did the best that you could in that situation. It does feel a little bit spontaneous. And so it's not like you had time to prepare or that this was on your radar. I mean, it is now, but it's not on your radar that you were prepared for a difficult or complicated conversation. This does feel kind of like in the heat of the moment. And so there's almost like this regret or this anxiety looking back and replaying, but they're saying, don't forget to take care of yourself and to trust your intuition. So I'm getting the sense that there's some level of gaslighting as a result of this. And it's like, no, you're not wrong here, right? And so this may not be your most graceful communication, but there's nothing to be upset about. There's nothing to be embarrassed about or to have anxiety about. There was raw emotions, and emotions, that's how it rolls sometimes, okay? So just keep that in mind. It says, plan carefully before taking action, but then get going. Pay attention to details, all right? Wait for the perfect timing, which means listen to your intuition. We're not pushing it. We're preparing for it and trusting that what is going to come in is coming in, and there it does come in. Not only do you have the wheel card, which is this vast, exciting, scary, nervousness, new beginning, a fresh new start, end of delay, center, unexpected progress. And there you are taking the leadership role and making it happen. Making it happen. And so the thing about you is when push comes to shove, you always got it. You always got it. It's always the anticipation. It's always the mind games that tell you that you don't got it, right? Well, if this happens, I don't know, right? And then it happens, you're like, I got this, right? And so our anxiety or apprehension about the hypothetical situations that our brain loves to feed us aren't always accurate, right? And so there's this reminder of the grit that you have, the natural intelligence, the natural confidence, the natural capabilities that you have. And you have learned and grown so much over the past years that there's such a grounded sense of you through this. And so challenging conversation, absolutely, communication, but I think that you really end up just shining bright, okay? Through this transition and as we finish out the month of February, there's very much this desire or this kind of encouragement from your divine team to pull back the layers, to pull back the defenses, to bring down the armor, okay? A lot of the times when we're learning to be strong and we're learning to have boundaries and we're learning to speak our truths, it can be we have to have those walls up extremely high because we have such weak knees in this new strong version of ourselves. Now that that time has passed and you have proven to yourself over time and time again that you can rely on yourself, that you are pretty freaking amazing, right? It's safe for you to bring that armor down. You're still just as strong and you're still just as assertive and just as fierce, but you don't need to be on edge or as rigid. And this is going to be something that, like I said, is really in the forefront now, but you're going to see kind of trickling out and softening as you go through 2026. Okay, that's also a bonus of the receiving and the blessings that are coming in and the contentment And the contentment, it's like you've been trying for 10 years to work towards something, and now it's like, here it is. That invisible work or the faith that you were keeping and hoping that it was worthwhile, here it is, right? It is absolutely worth it. And it all was not for nothing. And so that helps you soften because you feel less rigid and less like you're in battle, okay? And so keep this in mind moving forward, that protection is coming to an end. It's safe for you to release, and that there's trustworthy people because you made huge changes, right? Not everyone made the cut, right? And so you have changed, your vibration has changed. Therefore, those who align with this frequency that you now are has changed, right? And that's not only in your personal life, that's in your professional life, that is in like-minded souls. There is this kind of shift. And so not only are you trustworthy and you have learned that you can rely on yourself, but there are people in your life that are trustworthy and lining up with that. And that is because of the work that you've done. That is because of the standard you have created for yourself and for others, and the high quality vibration, right? And so it's really interesting on how this is coming in and how Spirit is saying, like, listen, this is part of the gig. Moving forward to receive, we need to soften, we need to open, right? We have been workhorses, we have been warriors. My God, last 8 years, and then there's a 5-year cycle, and then a 3-year cycle. So there's so many, in a 13-year cycle, there's so many things that have wrapped up, right? So many versions of you that it was kind of like, learn this, and then learn this, and then learn this, and then learn, and it was all hard, right? It was all hard. So of course we're a bit on edge. Of course we're a bit tight, right? But to be able to move into this next season that we are in and move forward with it, to receive, we have to open. And to open, we have to soften. It doesn't mean that we're putting ourselves out in a vulnerable state. It doesn't mean that you are, exposed. No. You got your knowledge, you got your life experience, you got your healed mindset. You have armor by just being the fierce soul that you are, right? You can let down that ego stuff, is what they're saying, so that you're able to not only receive, but to enjoy, right? To enjoy and to soak it up and to be present and to have contentment, and it not just being fleeting moments here and there. That's going to be your baseline, which I think we are all very much ready for. All right, I'm going to leave that with you. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Sunday, March.